What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and as you can see, this is my long-awaited show day makeup tutorial. So in this video, you see me wearing a red lip now, but I do give you guys two options of lips. One lip I actually wore at Tampa Pro last year. The red lip I wore quite a few times because it's honestly my favorite. It's such a vibe. But just full disclaimer, I am not a makeup artist. This is just how I've learned how to do my makeup over the years. I've learned my face. I've been doing it myself since 2019. And I've just figured out what I like. I want my look to be. I figured out what I like. I love that classic, just classic beauty, old Hollywood style look. Hence the red lip inspo, the big long curls that you see on stage, not here. I will do a voiceover, so you won't have to hear me try and talk through this video, and I hope you like it. Alright y'all, here we go. So first we're gonna go in with the Makeup Forever Shine Control Primer. Now, I tend to have pretty oily skin. It gets a little shiny, so I typically will try to use any sort of like matte products or mattifying products. When you're applying your primer, you don't want to just rub it all in like a moisturizer. You do want to leave a little bit of a layer on top. Next, I'm going in with the Anastasia Brow Gel. Y'all, your girl has curly eyebrows. So if you have eyebrows that fight back, this brow gel will hold them pretty much all damn day. It's the best brow gel I've ever used. I've tried other brow gels in the past and they just don't hold like this, so I'm sticking with this one for a while. Next, we're just gonna quickly hydrate these lips with a little bit of lip balm. You can use whatever lip balm, chapstick, whatever you want. We just don't want these crusty, dry lips or whatever. Next, I'm gonna go in with a little angle brush. You can use, it doesn't have to be an eyebrow brush, just one that has a little bit of an angle. And we're gonna use this dark brown in my Juvia's Palace, the Nubian palette, and just fill them in. I personally like a nice bold brow. I've seen lots of techniques used to doing eyebrows, but this one I just like best. It works for me. I'll go in with the dark brown, and then if they get a little messy, it's fine because we're gonna go in and clean them up, and I'll show you how we do that in a second. Alright, I told y'all we were gonna clean up these eyebrows, so we're gonna take a small flat brush and my concealer from NARS in the color Walnut. It's a medium dark color, and we're gonna just conceal these eyebrows. I do think that concealed versus not concealed looks so much better. You don't want to go in with a super light color, something that you would use to like maybe highlight something, but something that's just gonna clean them up, make them stand out, but not so much that they just look ridiculous on your face. Now I had some stragglers, so we're just gonna go in with the tweezers real quick, clean that up, you know. Alright, so after I went in with the dark brown shadow, I'm going to use a dark black pencil. I don't know why I emphasized dark and black in the same sentence because black is dark. But we're going to go in with a darker color. I like to use black because my hair is a natural dark brown, black, whatever. And just kind of fill in a little bit more where you would want eyebrows to be thicker. So notice I didn't make them super thick on the inside, just more towards the end. We're going to go back in with my Walnut concealer from NARS and just cover up some of these little dark spots. I do have some acne scarring that I'll cover up. Also, just any other areas in the skin that just are a little bit maybe hyperpigmented. We're not highlighting yet, we're just concealing before we put on our foundation. Next, I'm going to just take this little sponge and even that out a little bit. Quick tip, make sure you wet your sponge and wring it out first. It does help with the application. Alright, next we're going to go in with the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Foundation. I know this is a foundation, but I'm kind of using it as a concealer slash highlighter. I tried a concealer before and felt like it looked a little cakey, so this one I felt like was a little bit lighter and just went on a little bit easier. So we're going to highlight underneath the eyes, under the chin, on the bridge of the nose, and a little bit into the forehead. This really just starts to kind of bring out certain features a little bit better, and I like to make sure my eyes look as open as possible. To be honest, picking shades for this, I'm the wrong person to ask, because again, I just kind of figured out what kind of works, what kind of doesn't. So if you're not really sure what shades to pick, I would ask maybe a consultant at Sephora or Ulta or wherever you're getting your makeup from, and see what advice they might have. Also, looking up other actual beauty gurus or people who know what the hell they're doing with their makeup, I recommend that too. Alright, here is where we're going with our foundation, y'all. So this foundation actually matches my natural skin tone. So when you're putting on your foundation and you're looking for a shade, you typically want your foundation to be a few shades lighter than your tan. You'd never want your makeup to match your tan. For me, because I already have some melanin, I am a woman of color, I just went with something that kind of fit my skin tone naturally, because when I'm on stage, I have my tan on. It stands out in contrast enough to where my face doesn't look so dark in matching my tan, but it doesn't look pale as a ghost either. I have a warm undertone in my skin, so I went with a warm medium tone for my foundation. These colors are numbered, not named, so this is Y508. And as you can see, I'm going back in again with that lighter color, that lighter foundation, to just pick that highlight up just a little bit more. This is where my technique starts to get a little janky. Like I said, I am not a makeup artist. I just be throwing it on there, y'all, and it just turns out nice. So follow some of these steps, but I definitely recommend looking at some actual makeup artists that know what they're doing as far as application. You can kind of see too, I'm making some shape with my eye as I go underneath and up, kind of like a little bit of a wing. Now I'm going to go in with this setting powder, also by Juvia's Palace. This is in the color Sahara. But yeah, you see, I almost opened it upside down and made a huge freaking mess. So who would I be if I didn't include some nice bloopers in there? Because we all know real life ain't that perfect. So you can see I'm going over where I put the highlight color in. If you have oily skin, you know, it's a little bit better to use a beauty blender versus a brush to kind of pack it in there, because that's where you'll avoid a lot of the creasing. And then you'll see me go in a little bit with a brush to kind of spread it around a little bit, blot over the areas I didn't hit with the beauty blender. I'm going to go in with a second setting powder, which is a little closer to the color of my foundation, in the color Gobi. I hope I said that properly. I honestly don't know. But it's also by Juvia's Palace. And I'm just going to set my foundation. Now, I actually forgot a step. It's been a while since I did this, but I do use the Fenty Beauty foundation, but I didn't use it in this video, so I'm not even going to talk about it. But I'm probably going to end up redoing this tutorial, so just hang tight. You'll have an updated version. I definitely have some things that I want to improve on. So I'm going to use this foundation stick as my bronzer and my contour. This is also by Juvia's Palace, and it's in the color Benin, B-E-N-I-N. And I'm going to go right on top of my cheekbones, and I'm also going to go a little bit on my forehead, because we also have to blend this a little bit with our tan. I know we said our foundation doesn't match our tan, but it has to blend somewhere. We can't just have this lighter face and boom, drop into this dark tanned neck. So I will go in and start blending this in with a pretty thick angled brush. I also got this from Sephora. I honestly love Sephora. I do like Ulta, but Sephora is my jam. So we'll just blend that in, kind of even it out right into those cheekbones, create a nice contour. Not too much of a contour, because we're already dieted down. The face is already sunken in. You don't want to look dead. You just want to look like you got some shape. Contour that face. Boom. Yeah. And blend it in on the forehead because it has to match. Now I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna contour my nose. You don't have to contour your nose. This is definitely an optional step. I like to contour my nose just to give it a little bit more shape. My nose isn't super defined, so I like to go in and kind of just shape up that bridge a little bit, you know. And then I'm going to go in with a little tiny brush, little baby guy, and blend that in and up. I'll use my sponge again to blend that a little bit more, a little bit better, even it out with the rest of the foundation I applied earlier. Use that brush, buff it out, wipe away some of the setting powder that I applied earlier. And now, guys, we're gonna do these eyes, baby. All right, so we're gonna go in with the Juvia's Palace again and start in the crease with this nice warm color. Now, these colors aren't labeled, unfortunately, so I can't tell you the names of these colors, but just know I like more earthy tones for my eyes, my face, and my look. So you'll see me use mostly browns, golds, maybe a little bit of like rose gold, pink, but yeah, for the most part, it stays pretty consistent with that. So you see me blend it up a little bit and into the inner corner of my eye above the lid, and kind of just deepen that crease a little bit, make it a little bit more dramatic. Now I'm going to use this little kind of peachy color to blend a little bit up, because there's just, you have to blend it, guys, and it has to kind of gradually have this nice gradient. I mean, it doesn't have to, but I do find that just looks so much prettier, and it doesn't look as obvious to me when it has a nice blend up into that brow. Clean your brushes, guys. We're gonna go back in with that nice warm kind of walnut color and go underneath the eye, not in the waterline, but just kind of in that lash line. I just like to kind of use that instead of a liner. Don't ask me why. We're gonna go in with this cute little guy, this little mini brush, and deepen that crease even further with that dark brown that we used on my eyebrows, and just apply the eyeshadow. We're gonna go back in with that other brush, that little fluffy brush from before, and blend it out. You'll see in just a second. Now, I forgot to show you guys in the camera, but I did dip my brush back into that little medium walnut toasty color, that warm brown that we talked about before, and I just put that over top of the dark brown as a nice little blend. You really just, I don't know, I learned that, I think, watching other YouTube tutorials, so I think they can explain it better than I can. We're gonna go back in with that edge brush with this rose gold color right over top of that medium brown walnut color that we used earlier. I like putting one over top of the other because it makes it a little more saturated. Then we're gonna use the champagne color at the top right corner and apply it to the inner corner of my eye. Like I mentioned before, I like to have my eyes look as open as possible and maybe even make them look a little bit bigger. So that's a little pro tip. Now we're gonna go in with this Makeup Forever HD concealer, another lighter color, because we're gonna put it on top of our lid. You don't need a whole lot, so try not to over apply it or overdo it with the concealer. I've done that before, and yeah, take it from me. So like I said, we're just going to pat it in really just on top of the lid and a little bit going into the crease, but we don't want it to overshadow where we deepened it with that dark brown. Then we're going to take our fluffy brush and go in with this little number. And we're going to go over top of where we put that dark brown and see where it kind of blends up into that crease. And we're going to go in with a little blender brush and blend it in even better, but this is just where we apply, guys. We're going to go in and fix it later. Now we go in with this nice little neutral nude color over top of where we applied that concealer, and it turns out to be this nice natural matte nude. I don't even know what color I want to use here. We're gonna go, sometimes y'all, I just wing it. I don't always remember the order and what colors I used, so like I said, sorry if this isn't the tutorial you were hoping for, but I like to use this nice little gold color and go over top of where I applied that little matte nude, and then we're gonna go back in again with that champagne color and apply it to the inner corner of my eye and kind of brush it up and into the rest of my eyelid. Nice little natural gradient. And then we're going to go in with that same exact champagne color with that same exact fluffy brush and apply it on our brow bone to highlight the brow bone. And then we're going to go in and do the same thing on the tip of our nose. Again, part of that contour process, it just elevates the tip of that nose a little bit. I told y'all we were going to blend this, so this is the brush that I use to blend. And we're just going to go nice and light, not super heavy-handed. We don't want to just brush it all off. We're going to reapply some of this concealer because we're going to kind of sharpen this wing a little bit. There's a couple of different ways you can do this. Sometimes I use tape. Sometimes I just conceal it. As you get better with makeup, you might not need the tape just because your application technique gets better, but you can see, boom, snatches that. Those eyes be popping. Dun dun dun. All right, guys, this is the hard part, the eyeliner. So I use the Anastasia pomade eyeliner with a little teeny tiny brush. This is definitely, I think, one of the harder application techniques, but I find that the pomade just goes on so smooth and I just like the way that it looks. So this is why I use it, but you can just use like a regular, like, I don't know what you would even call it, like a liquid eyeliner. Yeah, I don't really know why I pretend like I didn't know what that was called. But yes, a liquid eyeliner usually has an applicator built in with it. That's a little bit easier to use, but we're gonna make just a nice semi-thick wing, not super crazy. Again, I have smaller eyes, so I don't want to go too heavy-handed on all of the black because it'll just make them look smaller. You'll also notice I don't apply the black eyeliner to my bottom lash line. I actually, if anything, will darken it with an eyeshadow, but I usually keep the eyeliner for the top of the lid. Going back in with my concealer to just sharpen up that edge, being very careful, we don't want to mess it up. And I dropped something, of course I did. Alright, we're gonna use the same dark brown another time, and we're gonna just blend a little bit into that outer corner of the crease, just so that we kind of get a little bit more drama, a little more dramatic effect. Deeper crease, blends a little bit into the eyeshadow. I just love that kind of natural gradient vibe. And then we're going to blend it in a little bit more with that little fluff brush. Ta-da! All right, y'all, time to put these lashes on. Now, if you struggle with putting on your own lashes now, don't worry, practice makes perfect. I like to use the Duo, I'm pretty sure it's black, the Duo gel. I just find it holds all day. I'm never having to like reapply it as long as I put on enough, and you'll see just how much I put on. I did clip them a little bit just to shorten them to fit my eye a little bit better. As you practice putting on lashes, you'll kind of see if you need to clip them, clip them. If you don't need to clip them, don't worry about it. Another thing I like about the Ardell Wispies is they're pretty flexible as soon as you get them. Sometimes when you get lashes, they're a little bit stiff and you have to kind of maneuver them around. So you can see here, I stacked one on top of the other. They go on pretty nicely. The second one, you might be a little bit scared. Don't worry, it actually goes on easier than the first one. Done with that. Done with that. All right, y'all, time to go in again with a deeper bronzer from the Juvia's Palace blush palette. Same angle brush I used to apply the deeper foundation, and we're just gonna kind of blot that on, blend it in. See how that just contours so nice. I love that like deep chocolate color. And again, picking out a color, I'm not the person to ask, but you can kind of use this as a reference and go off of this as an example. Again, you want to blend it a little bit into that jawline and even a little bit above, kind of where it starts to hit your face, just so again it blends with your tan and we're not just a floating head. Now we're gonna apply some blush, because y'all, don't skip this step. Blush is what makes your face look alive. Yeah, we contoured, yeah, we added some bronzer, but the blush really makes you pop, makes you look happy, alive, like you haven't been dieting for forever. And blend it in with a big fluffy brush. We're gonna take this little highlighter brush, some highlighter, and apply it to the top of your cheekbones. And again, an optional step, apply it to the bridge of your nose. Now I'm just going back in a little bit and setting the areas where I just feel like I get the most creasing, the most shine, you know what I mean? Covering all my bases. After applying all that makeup, I do sometimes find it helps to go back in and just retouch those eyebrows a little bit, because sometimes they'll get touched by that brush. They'll get some setting powder in there, so yeah. Now I go in with my, I think it's from CoverGirl, my CoverGirl Colossal Lashes CoverGirl mascara, and I'll go in on my bottom lashes, and I do like to apply it to my top lashes and my falsies as well. The reason being, I think it makes for a little bit better blend and a more natural look. That's really the only reason. I know sometimes people don't use it on the top lash or on their falsies, but I do. If you have lash extensions, I don't know the rules, so don't ask me, but yeah, this is how I like to do it. This step is optional. I'm going to use my beauty blender and my setting powder and just make a little bit of an edge from my bronzer to the rest of my face. I typically like to blend it better, but my camera cut off and I forgot that step, and then I just didn't go back and do it, so sorry. Re-moisturize these lips because we're about to apply my favorite part, the lipstick. All right, you guys, we have two lip options, my Tampa Pro lip and my Olympia Bold Red lip. We have the Huda Beauty lip contour in the color Rich Brown. We're just gonna line these lips. I actually do like to color in a little bit, not a whole lot, but I do like to color in definitely my top lip and a little bit of the bottom lip. I have a little bit of a pouty lip. I don't know if you know what that means, but it does mean that like the wet part of my lip, I guess, kind of dips out, so I find it's just the best way to blend it. Then we're gonna go in with this lipstick, which is also actually by Juvia's Palace, and it's in the color Cocoa. And just apply a nice layer, and then we're going to go in with this gloss. I can't remember where it's from, who it's by, but it's in the color It's Glass. I don't know, don't ask me. Actually, that's the whole point of this video, is to ask me, but I'm sorry I don't have more information on this gloss specifically. But that's it. We just put those lips together, rub them in a little bit, and there you're done. All right, time to wipe this off and go with my personal favorite, the Bold Red. And there I go dropping stuff again. So there's the Huda Beauty lip contour in the color Universal Red. And we're gonna do the same thing like we did with the Rich Brown, is just line this lip. Also, because I have a little bit of a pouty lip, my lower lip is a little bit bigger than my top one, so I like to overline my top lip just a little bit, just enough to even them out in shape and size. As you can see, I do kind of rub my lips together pretty often as I'm applying, because I feel like it just gives it a nice even coat. And it's, I don't know, I like doing that instead of using my finger. You notice this red is pretty bright, but it's okay because the lipstick that we're going to use, which is also by Huda Beauty, is a nice kind of warmer, less bright color. It's in the color Famous, and it is also a matte. It looks velvet right now, but it's going to dry matte. Y'all, this lipstick does not move. I'm talking between prejudging and finals, all the snacking, the meals I'm eating all day, in between prejudging and finals, it stays on, man. I love it. I actually probably need to get this in more colors. I do apply this in a couple of layers, I find it looks better when you put on more than one, but I don't normally do more than two. Also, if you have a pouty lip, I will say this one applies really nicely because it still goes on that like portion that's a little bit wet, and it stays very nice. So the last step is to conceal these lips. Similar to how we conceal the eyebrows, you know, I don't really know how to explain it any better than it just looks better. It just looks better, the lines are cleaner, nice little cleanup. It just kind of makes everything look as close to perfect as you can get it. See? And we're done, guys. That's it. A nice natural light glam look. There are definitely some things I missed that I want to improve on for the next time I do a tutorial. You'll have an updated version. I don't know when that's going to happen, but this will do for now. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.